Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, friends and loved ones. You're welcome to Speedysuccess Professional. We have our free class today, and I'm calling this one version 2. The topic is statement of cash flows, IAS. Why do we want to teach this topic today? At Speedysuccess, we provide a lot of training for different set of persons, for those who are into accountancy, marketing, banking. But we have discovered that for candidates going for exams, most times do not have enough cash to pay for full lectures. And it's a way of giving back. It's 4 years of online classroom and 10 years of Speedysuccess Professional. We have decided to go on this 10 weeks of free classroom for financial reporting, corporate reporting, and tomorrow will be on management accounting and cost accounting. All right, without wasting your time, let's quickly look at what we want candidates to know today, or persons who are in their profession, their job, is to prepare statements of cash flows. All right. We look at definition of terms, classification of the statement, and then the method of presentation. We look at the format. By the grace of God, maybe the next class, I will come up with a practice question if time will permit us in the next class. Someone can ask, I've been hearing your cash flow statement. I have never been able to prepare one, though I work as an accountant. The reason we're in this class, number one, is to ensure that both those persons practicing, you're working as an accountant, you're working on training, and those who are trainers like me, students, we are bringing this to you so as to allow you to have free learning. All right? It's free. The only thing you can do is to support us, to like the video, share it, and probably whatever you can support us with. It's okay. So many things to make the studio very strong and very loudly and very beautiful. That's all. All right, go ahead. Now, today we're looking at definition of terms. I'm going to get the camera closer to the ball, and so you may not see my face anymore. For now, then I'll come back again. So I'm going to move from this side, so presentation, and I'll move to colors, and then I will do the class. Right, let's continue. Let's look at the first board. All right. Now, our course content stated correctly. I think I talked about them before. The first definition we're going to look at today is cash. The word cash comprises cash on hand and demand deposits. Cash on hand and demand deposits. The next is cash equivalents. These are short-term, highly liquid investments that are readily convertible to a known amount of cash and which are subject to an insignificant risk of changes in value. Insignificant, very small, or very little. Please, all of us online, don't type anything yet. If I'm done, you can ask a question. I will listen and respond to everyone immediately or after the class. Thank you. All right. Now, let's look at other definitions. The statement of cash flow, definition number 3 here is cash flows, where main inflows of cash and outflows of cash and cash equivalents. All right, that's the last definition there. We move to the classification of statement of cash flow. When you are preparing the statements, we have 3 sections of it: the operating activity, investing activity, and financing activity. All right. Please, like I said, do not type or do not send any message not to disrupt the class. Just follow up until I'm done. You can now send your messages. Or you can also share. You can share to others so that we can have a large class. Are we ready? Now, let me do a brief on operating activities. We said operating activities are the core or the major activities of a company which generate revenue and cash flows for them. So we also say investing activity are those activities that relate to the entities investing in other entities, like buying of shares and also fixed depositing or doing other financial investments that are not the major operations of the company. Financing activities are those sources by which fund is being generated for the running of the business. I think we are good to go. My name is Femi Richworld. Those of us who, I didn't tell you my name earlier. My name is Femi Richworld, and I'm a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountant. I'm also the facilitator of this class. It will be for 10 weeks, so you are free to invite your friend to join us. Every Tuesday is supposed to be in the morning. I'll be back again next Tuesday by 10:30 in the morning. Can we go ahead? Method of presentation. We have 2 methods of presenting statement of cash flow: direct method and indirect method. Okay? And so if you want full lectures or more training or more services from Speedysuccess Professional, we have 3 professional services here: training, ICT, and accountancy services. Thank you. Let's quickly look at the formats of indirect method and direct method. Let's go. Now, this is one of the areas where candidates have problem or preparers as issues. I would like to say this before I start explaining the format. When you are preparing statement of cash flows, if it's for examination, the examiner must give you 3 statements. Statement 1 is two statement of financial position, which you used to call balance sheets. That is the previous year and the current year. And they are also to give you statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the period. For example, this statement is for 2023. And so if it's for example purpose, we are supposed to have a statement of financial position of 2022 and then of 2023 and the profit or loss for 2023 before we can do this presentation. Let's look at the indirect method. The heading is Speedysuccess Professional and statement of cash flow for the year ended 31st December 2023. I have my formats. Now, the way I did this format is for practical purpose. For those of so many people have sent messages to me before, please, I want you to teach me how to prepare final accounts. So I'm starting with this one. And if you want a full class, you can just chat us and we will register you for full practical class. Are we together? Now, you're welcome everyone online. Just share it. If you love us, you love what we are doing, share. Just share it to your friends and loved ones, and then we have a lot of persons enjoying this free class. Are we together? Now, we start with operating activities. We told us before that we have 3 sections where we are preparing statement of cash flow. Operating activity is the first section. The items there are profit before taxation, then adjustment for depreciation. You add back those items. Foreign exchange loss, you also add it back. It's not an operation activity of the company, except otherwise stated that the company is dealing with that as a major activity. If not, that is not a major activity. It's not your operating activity. That's why you have to add back. Investment income, also not a major activity. It has to be reclassified to investment activities. Interest expense. Now the word, when you see that negative I put for investment income, it means removing it from the profit before tax because it was added earlier in your profit or loss account. Those of us who understand accounting, if you don't understand, maybe after this first class, the other week, the third class, I think we'll be doing preparing financial account from the book of original entry to the end. That will make a lot of sense to so many young undergraduates. Now, the next area is interest expense. We're going to add back. Again, the reason is that this statement is statement of cash flow and not profit or loss. And since it's statement of cash flows, it only we accept cash items. Interest expense or any word expense in accounting simply mean paid and unpaid, or paid or an outstanding. That's what it means. So we have to eliminate it first and look for the actual amount paid and reclassify it into its own group. Are we together? Now let's get closer. We move to some persons can do total the way I did total, but no name. But we move to changes in working capital. Now, I like to tell candidates this clearly so that it will be noted. When you are doing changes in working capital, the best reminder is this. When it is increase in current assets, it's a cash outflow. I say that again. When it is increase in current assets, it is an outflow. When it's a decrease in current asset, it is an inflow. Vice versa, we say when it's a decrease in current liability is an outflow, an increase in current liability is an inflow. I think I get closer for you to see what I'm saying. I purposely use these three items so as for you to understand. When that is done, the total from the beginning to this point is known as cash generated from operations. All right? Then we go ahead and get interest paid. If it's practical, you should be able to know how much interest has been paid for the period from your receipt in the office. And if it is theory, the examiner will tell you, either by calculation or by additional information, that the actual interest paid for the year is a certain amount. That is the amount you're going to include here. Income taxes paid also will be stated if it's for examination, and if it's in office, in the practical level, I think there will be vouchers showing that we have paid so much amount of tax. Are we together? We are actually dealing with statement of cash flow and not profit or loss account. A lot of candidates are not able to prepare this account, including a lot of practitioners, because of the misplace of the purpose of this statement. You are online, thank you very much. It's free, but you can share and you can also like the video. Thank you. Can we go to the next section? So from this point, where you must have deducted interest paid and income tax paid, you will have what we call net cash flows from operating activity. Net cash flows from operating activity. All right? Now, if you check the labeling, I've labeled 2023 and 2022, and I put a middle line so as to put my total at a middle point for totaling the three sections at the end of the day. This is for those preparing for their companies. For those at the exams, I think you can just choose only 1 year. If it's 2023, you just have that last line as your total line. Are we making sense? Thank you. If you still love this, we'll move ahead. Let's go ahead and look at the next section is cash flows from investing activities. Cash flows from investing activity. Are we together? Now, the first item there should be purchases of property, plant, and equipment. property, plant, and equipment, that is PPE, and then it's an outflow. Proceed from sales of equipment also is an inflow. Proceed. Interest received, which was reclassified from as investment income earlier, is an inflow. Dividend received, inflow. And the total there will be net cash flow from investing activity. You can see that I put it in the menu. All right. Closer look. Okay. Now, let's go to the last section of the statement. Cash flow from financing activity. The first item there is proceed from issue of share capital, if any, and then it's an inflow. Proceed from long-term borrowing is also an inflow. Dividend paid, an outflow. There may be other payments at financing level, which also can be an outflow. So take note of that. It's not only limited to this. When you have the total here, you have net cash flow or used in financing activity. Now listen, where the net total here of financing activity is negative, you use the word used. And if it's positive, it's flow, all right? All right, so let's do it together. We now have what we call net increase in cash and cash equivalent for the year, adding operating activity, which is A, investing activity, which is B, and then financing activity, which is C. You have this total. Then you come closer and add opening cash and cash equivalent, which is the balancing at the end of 2022 in your statement of cash flows, your bank and bank balances, cash balances, brought together here and add up to your net increase. Is expected to give you a closing balance at the end of 2023. Where this figure is not the same with what you have in your statement of financial position, then you carry out what we call query. Something is wrong with your presentation. And it could be maybe there's an overdraft that was not taken note of, or there's an adjustment that was not included. That could be the reason for that. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, this is Speedysuccess Professional. My name is Femi, Richworld, Aiyeolowo. I am your facilitator. Let's look at the last line of this, the direct method. I'm going to present only the operating activity of direct method, since the financing and investing activity is the same, using any method. Are we together? Let's go. Now, we've come to the direct method. This method is basically used by banks and other cash-related entities. Are we together? The first item there is cash receipt from customers. Sometimes it requires some adjustment to actually know there's the actual cash received. The next is cash paid to supplier and employee, including other admin expenses paid. Take that away, you have cash generated from operations. And then bring your interest paid and income tax paid, you have your net cash flow from operating activity. Please, I'd like to state clearly here, for those who are professionals on the issue of interest paid. In presenting this statement, I have on my own classified that the interest paid is for operational activities and not for capitalized expenditures under IAS 23 borrowing costs. Please take note of that. If it is not like that, I will present my interest paid as part of my financing activity. So please, I have put out a caveat there. Don't tell your candidate it's wrong. I am saying that my interest paid is based on operational interest and not for capital expenditure. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave the class, this is what the normal presentation format for statement of cash flow using direct method will look like. And as I'm closing, I promise next week I will push on this platform before I start the class on my page the practice question for this, and then we'll enjoy it. Tomorrow is management and cost accounting. Please, you can follow me on Facebook, Femi, Richworld, Aiyeolowo, Speedysuccess Professional. We provide all the services in tutorial for ICANN, ACC, ASWA, marketing, banking, CIT, and ICT training. You can just reach us on 0814842 and 1 into 4 places, or 1111. And we have this. You can also follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube is Speedysuccess Studios. You will be able to see our live broadcast. If you have a question, please send now, and I will respond. Thank you. Thank you. See you tomorrow for those of us in management and cost accounting classroom.